Hare Krishna Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna. Okay, let's begin. So, can you hear me?
Yes प्रभु जी, I can hear.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, would you like to read today?
Yes प्रभु जी।
Mhm.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्रीमद् भागवतम चैप्टर 16। King Chitraketu meets the Supreme Lord.
1 second. Yeah, you may continue.
Yeah. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear King Parikshit, by his mystic power, the great sage Narada brought the dead son into the vision of all the lamenting relatives and then spoke as follows." Sri Narada Muni said, "O loving entity, all good fortune unto you.
All
Just
living
see,
entity.
O living entity, all good fortune unto you. Just see your father and mother, all your friends and relatives are overwhelmed with grief because of your passing away. Because you died untimely, the balance of your lifetime still remains. Therefore, you may re-enter your body and enjoy the remainder of your life, surrounded by your friends and relatives. Accept the royal throne and all the opulences given by your father." By the mystic power of Narad Muni, the living entity re-entered his body for a short time and spoke in reply to Narad Muni's request. He said, "According to the result of my fruitive activities, I, the living being, transmigrate from one body to another, sometimes going to the species of the demigods, sometimes to the species of lower animals, sometimes amongst the vegetables, and sometimes to the human species. Therefore, in which birth were these my mother and father? No one is actually my mother and father. How can I accept these two people as my parents? In this material world, which advances like a river that carries away the living entity, all people become friends, relatives, and enemies in due course of time. They also act naturally. They meditate, they
They also act
despise. Oh,
neutrally.
they also act neutrally. Sorry, Prabhuji. They also act neutrally. They meditate, they despise one another, and they act in many other relationship. Nonetheless, despite these various transactions, no one is permanently related. Just as gold and other commodities are continually transferred from one place to another in due course of purchase and sell, so the living entity, as a result of his fruitive activities, wanders throughout the entire universe, being injected into various bodies in different species of life by one kind of father and another, father after another. A few living entities are born in the human species and others are born as animals. Although both are living entities, their relationships are impermanent. An animal may remain in the custody of a human being for some time, and then the same animal may be transferred to the possessions of other human being. As soon as the animal goes away, the former proprietor no longer has a sense of ownership. As long as the animal is in his possession, he certainly has an affinity for it. But as soon as the animal is sold, the affinity is lost. Even though one living entity becomes connected with another because of a relationship based on the bodies that are perishable, the living entity is eternal. Actually, it is the body that is born or lost, not the living entity. One should not accept that the living entity takes birth or dies. The living entity has no relationship with so-called fathers and mothers. As long as he appears to be the son of a certain father and mother as a result of his past fruitive activities, he has a connection with the body given by that father and mother. Thus, he falsely accepts himself as their son and act affectionately. After he dies, however, the relationship is finished. Under these circumstances, one should not be falsely involved with jubilation and lamentation. The living entity is eternal and imperishable because he actually has no beginning and no end. He never takes birth or dies. He is the basic principle of all types of bodies. Yet he does not belong to bodily category. The living being is so sublime that he is equal in quality to the Supreme Lord. Nonetheless, because he is extremely small, he is prone to be illusioned by the external energy, and thus he creates various bodies for himself according to his different desires. For this living entity, no one is dear nor is anyone unfavorable. He makes no distinction between that which is his own and that which belongs to anyone else. He is one without a second. He is one without a second. In other words, he is not affected by friends and enemies, well-wishers and mischief mongers. He is only an observer, a witness of the different qualities of men. The Supreme Lord, Atma, the creator of cause and effect, does not accept the happiness and distress that result from fruitive actions. He is completely independent of having or accept a material body, and because he has no material body, he is always neutral. The living entity, being part and parcel of the Lord, possesses his qualities in a minute quantity. Therefore, one should not be affected by lamentation. Sri Shukdev Goswami continued, when when the conditioned soul, Jiva, in the form of Maharaja Chitraketu's son, had spoken in this way and then left, Chitraketu and the other relatives of the dead son were all astonished. Thus they cut off the shackles of their affection, which was due to their relationship with him, and gave up their lamentation. After after the relative has discharged their duties by performing the proper funeral ceremonies and burning the dead child's body, they gave up the affection that leads to illusion and lamentation, fear and pain. Such affection is undoubtedly difficult to give up, but they gave it up very easily. Queen Kritaduti's co-wives who had poisoned the child were very much ashamed, and they lost all their bodily luster. While lamenting, O king, they remembered the instructions of Angira and gave up their ambition to bear children. Following directions of the Brahmanas, they went back to the bank of Yamuna, where they bathed and atoned for their sinful activities. Thus, enlightened by the instruction of Brahmanas, Angira and Narada, King Chitraketu became fully aware of the spiritual knowledge. As an elephant becomes free from muddy reservoir of water, King Chitraketu came out of the dark well of family life. The king bathed in water of Yamuna, and according to the prescribed duties, he offered oblation of the water to the forefathers and demigods. Very gravely controlling his senses and mind, he then offered his respect and oblation to the sons of Lord Brahma, Angira and Narada. Therefore, being very much pleased with Chitraketu, who was a self-controlled devotee and surrounded soul, Narada, the most powerful sage,
Surrendered soul.
surrendered soul. Narada, the most powerful sage, spoke to him the following transcendental instruction. Narada gave Chitraketu the following mantra: O Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, who are addressed by the Omkara, Pranava, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. O Lord Vasudeva, I meditate upon you. O Lord Pradyumna, Lord Aniruddha, Lord Sankarashana, I offer you my respectful obeisances. O reservoir of spiritual potency, O supreme bliss, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are self-sufficient and most peaceful. O ultimate truth, one without a second, you are realized as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, and are therefore the reservoir of all knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Perceiving your personal bliss, you are always transcendental to the waves of material nature. Therefore, my Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. You are the supreme controller of the senses, and your expansion of forms are unlimited. You are the greatest, and therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. The words and mind of the conditioned soul cannot approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for material names and forms are not applicable to the Lord, who is entirely spiritual, beyond the conception of the gross and subtle forms. The impersonal Brahman is another of his forms. May he, by his pleasure, protect us. As pots made are completely of earth are situated on earth after being created and are transformed into earth again when broken, this cosmic manifestation is caused by the Supreme Brahman, situated in the Supreme Brahman and annihilated in the same Supreme Brahman. Therefore, since the Supreme Lord is the cause of Brahman, let us offer our respectful obeisances. The Supreme Brahman emanates from Supreme Personality of Godhead and expands like the sky. Although untouched by anything material, it exists within and without. Nonetheless, the mind, intelligence, senses, and living forces can neither touch him nor know him. I offer unto him my respectful obeisances. As iron has the power to burn when made red hot in the association of fire, so the body, senses, living forces, mind, and intelligence, although merely lumps of matter, can function in their activities when infused with a particle of consciousness by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As iron cannot burn unless heated by fire, the bodily senses cannot act unless favored by the Supreme Brahman. O Transcendental Lord, who are situated in the topmost planet of the spiritual world, your two lotus feet are always massaged by a multitude of the best devotees with their lotus bud hands. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, complete in six opulences. You are the Supreme Person mentioned in the Purusha Sukta prayers. You are the most perfect, self-realized master of all mystic power. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Sri Shukdev Goswami continued. Narada, having become the spiritual master of Chitraketu, instructed him fully in his prayers because Chitraketu was fully surrendered. O King Parikshit, Narada then left with the great sage Angira for the topmost planet known as Brahmaloka. Fasting and drinking only water, Chitraketu for 1 week continuously chanted with great care and attention the mantra given by Narad Muni. O King Parikshit, after only 1 week of repeatedly practicing the mantra received from spiritual master, Chitraketu achieved the rule of the planet of Vidyadharas as an intermediate product of his spiritual advancement in knowledge. Therefore, within a very few days, by influence of the mantra that Chitraketu had practiced, his mind became increasingly enlightened in spiritual progress, and he attained shelter at the lotus feet of Anantadeva. Upon reaching the shelter of Lord Sesha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chitraketu saw that he was as white fibers of lotus flowers. He was dressed in bluish garment and adorned with a brilliantly glittered helmet, armlet, belt, bangles. His face was smiling and his eyes were reddish. He was surrounded by such exalted, liberated persons as Shanat Kumara. As soon as Maharaja Chitraketu saw the Supreme Lord, he was cleansed of all material contamination and situated in his original Krishna consciousness, being completely purified. He became silent and grave, and because of love for the Lord, tears fell from his eyes and his hairs stood on end. His great devotion and love, he offered his respectful obeisances unto the original personality of Godhead. With tears of love and affection, Chitraketu repeatedly moistened the resting place of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. Because his voice was choked in ecstasy for a considerable time, he was unable to utter any of the letters of the alphabet to offer the Lord's suitable prayers. Therefore, by controlling his mind with his intelligence and thus restricting his senses from the external engagement, he recovered suitable words with which to express his feeling. Thus he began offering prayers to the Lord, who is the personification of the Holy Scriptures, the Satvata Samhita, like the Brahma Samhita, and the Narad Pancharatra, and who is spiritual master of all. He offered his prayer as follows.
Yep, here we could stop. Yep, thank you very much, Parth Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. What was it? Monday, Friday, sorry, Saturday morning.
Yes, Prabhuji, very divine. I mean, while reading this through, yeah, I could recall that, yeah, this story, although I haven't read from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, but some story I have seen as I don't know, movie or cinema or something in the past. And
Did you see Abhay Charan?
yeah,
Prabhupada?
Abhay Charan, I have seen, yeah.
I think this is covered there, one of the episode.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, I could remember. And when Narad Muni infused the soul into the sun, and then when sun came, so he actually uh, enlightened everyone who were lamenting for his death. So it's very divine. And because of them both only, Narad Muni and the son, all the people like so easily could give up the lamentation. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult for them.
Yeah, nice point.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for
Yeah, thank you. नारायण नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवदुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are continuing from the sixth canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We have, I think, four more chapters before we can come to the seventh canto. Of course, this means we may not be able to finish all these four chapters by 24th of December this year, when we are going to start the seventh canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. But yeah, I think there is also not so hurry that we just go in a rush and miss such a important parts that will come. Maybe the last chapter is a short one. How Mother Diti performs Pumsavana ceremony. But before that, there is a very big chapter, chapter number 18, that is going to cover about Indra, the conversation between Diti and Indra. So that will take at least 2 or 3 sessions, and this itself also 16th chapter also will take 2 sessions. I hope everyone is fine with that. Yep. So here we understand, yeah, so kind of a recap was that yeah, Chitraketu was lamenting, and at that time again Angira this time comes with Narada Muni, and Chitraketu glorifies Narada and Angira and requests knowledge how to handle this, and that's the reason we can see that Chitraketu is given this divine instruction. This is a very important point, that unless we really want, usually only out of compassion, the great saintly people will come and guide us. But the moment when we think, okay, after such a instructions that come, and still if one is not interested, yeah, only Lord can save. So here, Narada is instructing Chitraketu. He says, I am going to give you a mantra, and that mantra is what we will read today, and we will also try to repeat and remember it if possible. In the sixth canto, 16th chapter. श्रीबादरायणिर्वाच अथ देवर्षिर्राजन् सम्परेतं नृपात्मजं दर्शयित्वेति होवाच ज्ञातीनाम् अनुशोचताम्. So, Shukadeva Goswami, here we can see the prayer of power of devotee is inconceivable. How? Because here it is said, by his mystic power, the great sage Narada brought the dead son into the vision of all the lamenting relatives and then spoke as follows. Usually we know what it is. Yeah, when someone dies, yeah, mm, the science can try and try, but it needs a mystic power to bring someone back to power, and someone back to life. And this is possible only when it is that one has this power, and devotee Sri Narada here we can see, however, should be properly used. It's not that okay, one has power and then they can use as they like. No, uh, the powers that one attain through devotion should be used for advancement in devotion life. Should not ask for material things, but something spiritually advance, for spiritual advancement. So we have to be little careful As we become devotees, the prayers that we offer should be right prayers, should be right desires, and not only these two, but also very careful, at least not the wrong things, which are, it could be material name and fame, it could be material possessions, it could be uh, ill um ill feelings for others. All these things we should give up, and it's a practice. And then one who attains perfection in that, like Narad Muni, can even bring back a dead son. So this is what happened. Shri Narada Uvacha Jivatman Pasyan Bhadram Te Mataram Pitaram Chate Suhrido Bandhavastapta Suchatvat Kritaya Bhrasham. So, and Narad Muni said, oh, he told to this boy who came back to life, yeah, this Harsha Shoka. Harsha Shoka is the son's name. Of course, now we don't know, yeah, he already left the body. But okay, this boy who is brought back to life is saying, just see your father and mother, all your friends and relatives are overwhelmed with grief because of your passing away. Uh, yeah, and then कलेवरं स्वमाविश्य शेषम् आयुः सुहृद्व्रतः भुङ्क्ष्वा भोगान् पितृप्रतान् अधिष्ठित अधि अधितिष्ठ nupashanam. Is saying, okay, now everyone is waiting for you because you died untimely. The balance of your lifetime still remains. Therefore, you may re-enter your body and enjoy the remainder of your life, how you can accept the royal throne and all the opulences given by your father. And now, as Parth Prabhu was mentioning, a jiva, of course, we may see he is a boy, but he is fully enlightened. Why? Because, yes, he has left. He has left from this body and he went to the other body, and then he is brought back by Narada Muni. जीवोवाच कस्मिन् जन्मनि अमी मह्यं पितरो मातरो भवन् कर्मभिर्ब्राह्म्यमानस्य देवतिर्यं योनिषु. By the mystic power of Narada Muni, the living entity re-entered his dead body for a short time and spoke in reply to Narad Muni's request. And then, of course, he said, according to the results of my fruitful activities, I, the living entity, transmigrate from one body to another. So, transmigration is natural process if one takes up to this material world. I, the living entity, transmigrate from one body to another, sometimes going to the species of demigods, sometimes to the species of lower animals, sometimes among the vegetables and other human beings. So, so he is saying, therefore, in which birth were these my mother and father? No one is actually my mother and father. How can I accept these two persons as my parents? The purport, Prabhupada mentions that this jiva is saying karma is the cause of my birth and transmigration from one body to other. So who is the cause? Is it the parents the cause? We may think because he is produced from the mother, that's why we think, oh, he is the son of his mother, and he is because of his father. That's why we say parents are the cause of the birth. But here the boy is saying, karma is the cause of my birth and transmigration from one body to another. And ask the question, in which birth were they my parents? Which means once the living entity, the spirit soul is leaving the body, then he breaks all its connections with that body. Of course, question may come, okay, but they still come in my dreams. The question may come, okay, the scriptures are saying that they don't leave, they come back. So many things, but they do not remember everything. Only very special cases. The 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 living entity, for a reason, remembers what happened in his previous life. We can remember the examples given in Bhagavatam as Gajendra. He remembers that wonderful prayer that he could offer. He didn't remember all his life, but only that prayer. And then this Jada Bharat, which we will discuss in the coming weeks as part of the Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya there. So one has to absorb himself in spiritual practices that he can remember the spiritual identity, yeah, and can take it serious. And here that boy is simply saying, no one is my mother, father, or which parents are we talking about here? Yeah, and in the purport, Prabhupada mentions here it is made clear that living being enters a material body that is like a machine created by the five gross elements, earth, water, fire, air, and sky. And the third subtle element, and the three subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and ego. Uh, so there are two separate identities called inferior nature and superior nature. Mm. And which both belong to the Supreme Lord. According to the results of living entities due to action, he is forced to enter the material elements in different types of bodies. So here the fruitive actions, the actions that cause fruit, that are the reasons why one is getting here. So the living entity is the son of the Supreme Lord, if we see like that, because nothing is coming above the Lord. The Lord is the cause of all causes. Huh? And because he wants, the living entity wants to enjoy this material world, the Supreme Lord gives him a chance to enter various bodies. The living entity has no true relationship with the material body he gets from the material mother and father. He is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, but he is allowed to go through different bodies. So, then the so-called creators are in a way only limited. Of course, one may say, hey, how can you say that they are not creators? Yeah, the parents are our creators. In fact, parents are the cause, yeah, but they are immediate cause. Who is the ultimate cause? The ultimate cause is the Lord. Here we say the body created by the so-called father and mother actually has nothing to do with its so-called creators. Therefore, the living entity flatly denied that Maharaj Chitraketu and his wife were his father and mother. बंधु ज्ञाति अरि मध्यस्थ मित्रो दासीन विद्विषः सर्व एव हि सर्वेषां भवन्ति क्रमशो mitah. No? And in this way it says there are also neutrally, in the material world, no? Which advances like a river that carries away a living entity. All people become friends, relatives, and enemies in due course of time. Friends, relatives, and enemies. All this is a part of life. Huh? They also act neutrally. They mediate, they despise one another, and they act in many other relationships. Nonetheless, despite these various transactions, no one is permanently related. Hmm. So, it is our, I mean, Prabhupada writes in the purport, it is a practical experience in this material world that the same person who is one's friend today become one's enemy tomorrow. Our relationships as friends or enemies, family men or outsiders are actually the result of our different dealings. Uh, so the living entity, he could say, he could have thought, was my enemy in my last life and now have appeared as my son. Chitraketu is the Harsha Shoka has become the cause of what? Cause of his lamentation. So Chitraketu Maharaj was lamenting for his son who was now dead, but he could have considered the situation otherwise. He is feeling, oh, very sad that finally my son, I love him so much, he is my very dear, and now he's gone. Rather, he can also think like this that, oh, this whoever has come as a living, as my son, I think he might be some enemy, was my enemy in my last life, and now having appeared as my son, he prematurely leaving just to give me pain and agony. So, so enemies cause pain, and he's thinking maybe he was actually enemy to cause this pain. Why should he not consider his dead son his former enemy and instead of lamenting be jubilant because of an enemy's death? So all these things, yeah, one can think This is as the modes of material nature work. In illusion, we accept others as friends, enemies, sons, or fathers in terms of reactions of different dealings under different conditions. यथा वस्तूनि पन्यानि यथा वस्तूनि पण्यानि हेमादीनि ततस्ततः पर्यट पर्यटन्ति नरेष्वेवं जीवो योनिषु कर्तृषु. So he's going, just as gold and other commodities are continually transferred from one place to another in due course of purchase and sales. Now we have all the currency of different countries, and this is our media of transaction, exchanges. Yeah, in those days it's gold. Irrespective whatever it is, we can see money is always money. Yeah, it's a means of transactions and it doesn't stay with anyone. Yeah. As a result of his fruitive activities, wanders throughout the entire universe. Just like how the money, yeah, the note, you never know. Sometimes in olden days, people used to sign on a note and then just leave it in the transaction, and we never know where it can go from hand to hand to hand, and finally there's very less chance that it might come back, but they hope, oh, if that comes back, it's a nice adventure of the note. So here Chitraketu, it has already been explained that Chitraketu's son was his enemy in past life and how had now appeared as his son just to give him more severe pain. So so, but in different situations, it can be used as an enemy or a friend. This can happen. So-called relationship of father and son is an arrangement of nature. It has no meaning and therefore is called Maya. I don't know. Adrasa Prabhu, you are there? Yesterday you asked the question,
Yes,
no? What is
Guruji.
Maya? Yeah, in this purport, Prabhupada mentions Prakriti. Therefore, the so-called nature, the so-called relationship of father and son is an arrangement of Prakriti, nature. Yeah, it has no meaning and therefore it is called illusion. Yeah, we are not seeing things as they are. That is illusion. That is Maya. Hmm?
That is also we can say like living in a dream.
Yeah, yeah.
And
The more we open ourselves, we can't believe that, hey, how can this be dream? I'm seeing everything. Yeah, but when we don't see them as it is, in the real understanding, that is the Maya illusion. And he says sometimes, yeah, he accepts a father and mother among the birds, and sometimes he accepts a demigod father and mother. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore said, Brahmana Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeevan, Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. So one should not be worried of this mm, material uh, relationships or material dealings, yeah, which are not so important, because Bhagyavan Jeev, the most fortunate son or soul, sorry, fortunate being is one who is that Guru Krishna Prasade Paye. Through Guru and Krishna, one who gets the bhakti, nourishment of bhakti in one's heart, such a person is most fortunate. Mm. So getting parents is not very difficult. Uh, Difficulty is to obtain a bona fide spiritual master and Krishna. That is important. Uh, Therefore, duty of human being is to capture the opportunity to come in touch with Krishna's representatives, who is Guru. Prabhupada mentions, under the guidance of spiritual master, the spiritual father, one can return home back to Godhead. So that's why we were discussing how many three kinds of births. What are the three kinds of births? One is the birth that is direct birth, from the parents. The second is Dvija. What is that kind of birth? It is that when one is taking shelter at the spiritual master's lotus feet, accepting a Diksha, he is getting second birth. The third birth is when he is committing himself to be ardent servant of Govinda, ardent servant of the Lord, and worship him. That is the final, third birth, that he is accepting the Lord as everything. Nityash नित्यस्यार्थस्य सम्बन्धो हि अनित्यो दृश्यते हृषु यावद् यस्य हि सम्बन्धो ममत्वं तावत् एव हि. A few living entities are born in human species and some are born as animals. Although both are living entities, their relationships are impermanent. The example given here is as soon as the animal goes away, the former proprietor no longer has a sense of ownership. Yeah, if we know that mm, people go and buy cows or bulls in the villages, so yeah, they take complete care of them. But if these animals, yeah, sometimes what may happen is these animals run crazy. They don't want, they lose I don't know what is it called. They behave strange that the owner has to somehow leave them, and these start going around, huh? Or sometimes some people, because this cow no more gives milk, this cow no more serves their family business, so they may even let it free, and they don't no more have this sense of ownership of these cows. Yeah. So aside from the fact that soul transmigrates from one body to another, even in this life, the relationship between living entities are impermanent. Mm. So that's why the son of Chitraketu was named Harsha Shoka, or jubilation and lamentation. So this jubilation and lamentation are yeah, experienced within one life. The living entity is certainly eternal, but because he is covered by a temporary dress, this body, his eternity is not observed. So one should be careful. The living entity, however, is permanent. As an animal is transferred from one owner to another, living entity who was the son of Chitraketu lived as his son for some time, and but as soon as he was transferred to another body, the affectionate relationship was broken. Yeah, the parents, yeah, because they are uh, more how to say, yeah, we may see the sometimes, yeah, the kids have more innocence, yeah, which means they know some things and they don't know some things, whereas parents know more than children, but they do not know how to see it in the right way. So in this way, they have more attachment. The child was saying, huh, then one no longer has a relationship with it. He has no affection for it, nor does he lament it. So this is a higher stage of consciousness, that one should understand that the only permanent relationship is with Krishna, because he is the one who created. Evam yonigato jivaha sanityo nirahankritah yavad yatropalabhyeta tavat swatvam hi tasya tat. Uh, Even though one living entity becomes connected with another because of relationship based on body, that are perishable, living entity is eternal. Mm. So this is coming repeatedly, that we should understand that we are eternal beings. When living entity lives within the material body, he falsely thinks that he is the body, although actually he is not. These illusions continue as long as one is not enlightened about the situation of living entity. And that's why the next shloka. Esha nityo vyayah sukshma, esha sarvashraya swadrik, atma maya gunair vishvam, atmanam srijate prabhu. So, when we are qualitatively same as supreme, then why we are prone to be illusioned by the external energy? This is given very clearly here. Because if we say Aham Brahmasmi, that means if I think that I am God, why are we having toothache? Why are we having backache? Why are we having headache? Why are we having all these things? Yeah, which, of course, one may say, hey, even Krishna had headache, right? No, in his case, he created for him so that he can enact a Leela. But our headache is not, of course, um, just for the divine pleasure of our own self, right? When we have headache, it doesn't mean that we are enjoying. So there is difference. Why is this difference coming? This is explained in this verse number 9. Hmm? Though we are qualitatively same, but quantitatively we are not same. It is said, the living entity being so sublime that he is equal in quality to the Supreme Lord. Nonetheless, because he is extremely small, Lord is Vibhu. uh, and we are Anu. Vibhu means unlimited, Anu means infinitesimal. We are very, very small. Just a small spark of fire, yeah, eventually can grow bigger and bigger and bigger, can become forest fire. But when we can see that it takes time and it doesn't have its own strength compared to the fire already. The Lord is all powerful. We are powerful but not as powerful as the Lord. Hmm. In this verse, the philosophy of Achintya Bheda, simultaneously oneness and difference, is described. The living entity is eternal, Nitya, like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the difference is that the Supreme Lord is the greatest. No one being equal to or greater to him than him, whereas the living entity is Sukshma or extremely small. The Shastras describes that the magnitude of the living entity is 1/10,000 the size of the tip of a hair. Uh, uh, so, relatively, if the living entity is accepted as the smallest, there should naturally be inquiry about the greatest. When we are saying so small, there should be great. The greatest is the Supreme Lord, and the smallest is the living entity. So, this is what we should understand. Another, and we understand it will come. Yeah. Another peculiar characteristic of Jiva is that he becomes covered by Maya. Atma Maya Gunair. He is prone to be covered by the Supreme Lord's illusion. The living entity, this is important for the living entity is responsible for his conditional life in the material world, and therefore he is described as Prabhu. So, when we are calling someone Prabhu, it can also mean this, hey, you, the one who have created your own material suffering, because you are the master. The body itself, we are not calling it as Prabhu. We are calling the being who is inside this body. The living entity is responsible for his conditional life in this material world. Uh, so he has caused it. Who can cause something? Only a master can cause. That's why we address him Prabhu. If he likes, he can come into this material world, and if he likes, he can return home back to Godhead. That's why we call a living being, a human, as a Prabhu. Because he wanted to enjoy this material world, the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, gave him a material body through the agency of material energy. हाँ ईश्वर सर्वभूतानां हृद्देशे अर्जुन तिष्ठति ब्रह्मन् सर्वभूतानि ब्राह्मयन् ब्राह्मयन् means everything is revolving yantra rudhani mayaya, just like a machine. He is saying Arjuna, everything is situated in everyone's sorry, I am situated in everyone's heart and is directing the wandering of all living entities. So the Lord as Paramatma, yeah, sometimes we think, oh, Lord is so far. No, He is inside the heart. Uh, and then whatever prayers we are offering, we can offer the prayers to the Lord inside our heart. And then that's why He is there to help us, to guide us. How yantra rudhani mayaya, uh, and who are seated. It's saying and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated on a machine made of material energy. Machine made of material energy is this sophisticated body, and Krishna is sitting inside and he is directing us. So in this way, Jiva Goswami says in this connection that the living entity within the body is extremely difficult for materialistic scientists to find. Although we understand from authorities the living entity is within the body. The body is different from the living entity. Hmm. न हि अस्यास्ति प्रियः कश्चिन् न प्रियः स्वपरोऽपि वा एकः सर्वधियां दृष्टा कर्त्री कर्त्राणां गुणदोषयोः. So he's saying Jiva is impartial. He's saying no one is dear nor is anyone unfavorable. He makes no distinction between that which is his own and that which belongs to anyone else. Who is one? Sorry, he is one without a second. So in this way, he's saying he is only an observer, a witness of different qualities of men. So Jiva is impartial, we can say. Just like the Lord, Lord is saying, I am impartial to everyone. Of course, I am favorable to my devotees. Yeah? So here Jiva is saying, not only Jiva, we know that Lord is impartial, and this Harsha Shoka, this child is coming and saying, hey, I have no partiality. It doesn't matter who is who. Uh, he is only an observer, witness, and different qualities of men. All these things which are in the Lord, we also have them. Only thing is we are covered. This whole lengthy purport explains that with nice references from Bhagavad Gita. Then nadatta atmahi gunam na dosham na kriya phalam a udasina vad asinaha paravara drag ishvaraha. Is saying the Supreme Lord, the creator of cause and effect, does not accept the happiness and distress that result from fruitive actions. He is completely independent of having to accept a material body, and because he has no material body, he is always neutral. The living entities, on the other side, what happened, being part and parcel of the Lord, possess his qualities in a minute quantity. Therefore, one should not be affected by lamentation. After saying all this, I think, yeah. And after saying all this, he simply left. Shri Badarayanar Uvacha Iti Udirya Gato Jivo Gnatayastasya Te Tada Vishmita Mumuchu Shokam Chitvatma Chitvatma Sneha Srinkhalam, the iron shackles. After this, no, very important. When the conditioned soul in the form of Maharaj Chitraketu's son had spoken in this way, they left and then left. Chitraketu and other relatives of the dead son were all astonished. Thus they cut off the shackles of their affection, which was due to their relationship with him, and gave up their lamentation. So that is what Ajnana and Jnana. The difference is the ignorance, which is covered, and knowledge has the power to break such shackles. So when Path Prabhu was reading about what this boy who returned was speaking, it is very important. It's not just a philosophy. It's not, no. We have to understand when we appreciate the purport of and the potent of such knowledge, then we will start getting unattached to this world. And then what happened? Chitraketu, lamentation, all these things. Thus, they cut off the shackles of their affection. Nirhitya gnatayo gnatir deham kritvocitah kriyah tatyajur dushtyajam sneham shokamoha bhayatidam. And after that, they gave up the affection that leads to illusion, lamentation, fear, and pain. Such affection, such affection is undoubtedly difficult to give up, but they gave it up very easily. So they have performed the final rites of this dead child, dead son, and yeah, then they came out of this such a painful situation because without this uh, knowledge, it would have been impossible for them because they would just go on in this cycle of thinking shoka. Yeah, harsha is very nice to enjoy. We even forget time when we are happy. We forget time when we are jubilant. We forget time when we are enjoying what we like. But the other times, yeah, which is painful, people are not able to give it up. It becomes so much pain. But when there is right knowledge, yeah, right knowledge at the right time and right guidance at the right time, then one can come out of it. This is what we can see. Not only Chitraketu and Kritadyuti, yeah, we can also see बालज्ञयो व्रीडितास्तत्र बालहत्या हतः प्रभाः बालहत्या व्रतं चेतुर्ब्राह्मणैर्यन् निरूपितं यन् यमुनायां महाराजा स्मरन्त्यो द्विजभाषितम्. After this, co-wives felt ashamed, lost their bodily luster. Knowledge also has made them give up ambition to bear children. This is very nice, isn't it? So when one comes to understand, after all this, I thought family life, oh, having children, oh, so nice that I can forget myself in them. Oh, when my little son, my daughter, they come to me and I forget all. This is what people also say, right? What is that called? They call stress busters. Kids, family is everything stress busters. In fact, there is also a verse that says that the husband, who, I mean, in those days, who used to go out for business on their bullock carts, mm, mercantile community, when they go out, they're always thinking, oh, when I can come back, when I can come back and see my dear wife's face, and then all my so he's meditating how that once he comes home, then his home is a happy home, right? I still remember my aunt when I was a kid. She used to make some craft work, and in that she used to write. And I think she makes it with some plastic wires or something. And in that there is a happy home, honey home, some things so that we can put it on the wall. So all see, this is what we are attributing ourselves. If you go to um, the shores of Kanyakumari, uh, and there you can also see people are selling made of shells, happy home. So everyone brings some things to home, thinking the home is the best place. But the scriptures are giving that home is a blind well. Of course, how can we accept? After all, we are grihasthas. Yeah. So as long as we are selfish to enjoy the facilities of our home, as long as we are thinking this home is the place for me to enjoy all comforts for me, and then it's a blind well, definitely. Rather hear this now when the boy spoke all these wise words of wisdom. Yeah, then what happened? Even the co-wives of Kritadyuti who poisoned the child, they also felt ashamed. Oh, yeah, what kind of sin have we committed? And yeah, um, selfish. So being blind, they did it, and this knowledge has opened their eyes, and they felt ashamed, lost their bodily luster, and they uh, left to Yamuna to take bath for atonement of sinful activities. Following the directions of the Brahmanas, they went to the bank of Yamuna where they bathed and atoned for their sinful activities. Purport. Prabhupada mentions about Bala Hatya. Bala Hatya Hata Prabaha is to be particularly noted. Bala Hatya in today's world can also be done not like, okay, one is poisoning the child. One is, of course, giving a poison when sometimes people don't want to have a child, right? And they go and ask the doctors for aborting, for an abortion, or they take some medicines to kill. So killing of child within the womb is also Bala Hatya. One should stop killing the child in the womb. If not done, one suffers in this life and the next. This is mentioned. What's the best way? Chanting the name, the holy names, and committing to not commit such act of abortion. This is the solution. If you see in the purport 14, it is mentioned, oh, what happened, how to atone such a Bala Hatya is mentioned. Any woman who has ever performed such an infamously sinful act must atone for it, but no one now is doing that. Under the circumstances, the woman responsible must suffer in this life and the next. Those who are sincere souls, after hearing this incident, should refrain from such child killing and should atone for their sinful activities by taking to Krishna consciousness very seriously. If one chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra without offenses, all of one's sinful actions are surely atoned for immediately. But one should not commit such deeds again, for that is an offense. Hmm? So, on the strength of the holy name, one should not keep committing this offense. One should be careful. Sa itham pratibuddhatma chitraketur dvijoktibihi grandha kupam कूपान् निष्क्रान्तः Sarah Pankad Iva Dvipaha. Example given is like elephant becomes free from muddy reservoir of water. Chitraketu came out of dark well of family life. This is example given. So coming out of muddy reservoir is not so easy. Muddy means Kichad. It is so difficult to come out of that, but it's not impossible. With support, it is always possible. Kalindyam in the river Yamuna. Kalindya vidivat snatva krita punya jalakriyaha maunena samyata prano brahmaputra abandata. So, and then king has taken bath in the water of Yamuna, and according to the prescribed duties, he offered oblations of water to their forefathers and demigods. This we should do. We should know how to do the most simplest way also. That way we can also do a big thing whenever we are going to holy place. Uh, one can offer arghya to the river or to the ocean or the sea, and one can also offer later the arghya to the forefathers and the demigods. Very gravely controlling his senses and minds, he then offered his respects and obeisances to the son of Lord Brahma, Angira and Narada. Thereafter, अथ तस्मै प्रपन्नाय भक्ताय प्रयतात्मने भगवान् नारदः प्रीतो विद्याम् एताम् उवाचः. Now after this, then Chitraketu, being very much pleased with Chitraketu, Narad Muni spoke to him the following transcendental instructions. He said, Om Namastubhyam Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumna Niruddhaya Nama Sankarshanaya Cha Namo Vijnana Matraya Paramananda Murtaye Atma Ramaya Shantaya Nivritta Dvaita Drishtaye. I said, O Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, who are addressed by the Omkara, Pranava, I offer respectful obeisance unto you. O Vasudeva, I meditate upon you. O Pradyumna, Lord Aniruddha, O Lord Sankarshana, I offer you my respectful obeisances. O reservoir of spiritual potency, O supreme bliss, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you, who are self-sufficient and most powerful, most peaceful. O ultimate truth, one without a second, you are realized as Brahman, Paramatman, Bhagavan, and therefore the reservoir of all knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. The purport is nice, which explains the first cant, second cant of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, or even first cant as well, about the three forms of Vishnu. And then we can see the Sankarshana is this original, in this original group is the original cause of the three Purushas, namely Karana Dakashaya Vishnu, Garbha Dakashaya Vishnu, and Kshira Dakashaya Vishnu. So it gives the whole creation hierarchy of what was the first creation. Then there is the Adi Chaturvyuha, the first Chaturvyuha, who are the Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And yeah. As I said, so please refer to this wonderful lengthy purport to understand. And here, indeed, his very form is Paramananda. This is confirmed in Vedanta Sutras. Anandamayo Bhyasat. By nature, Lord is Anandamaya. Hmm. In fact, not only Lord is Anandamaya, even we are also. Hmm. This is the Vedanta Sutras are telling we are also that, yeah, but qualitatively, very, very minute. No one can make him morose. No one can make the Lord morose. Atma Rama Maya. Atma Ramaya. Yeah, Atma. This is the word that's used here in the shloka. Yeah, Atma Arama means unto the Lord who is self-sufficient. Atma Arama. Hmm. Um, and as I said, this is giving very nice explanation of this verse. So please make a note, 19th verse, and Yeah, if you're interested, maybe you can make a note of this and try to remember this mantra. Why? Because we can see the next what happened. Yeah? Atmanandanubhutyaiva न्यष्ट शक्त्या ऊर्मये नमः ऋषिकेशाय महते नमस्ते अनंत मूर्तये. And in this verse, the difference between Lord and living entity is very nicely explained. Again, this verse number 20 is telling Lord and living being are same, at the same time not same. In what way they are not same, and is explained. The whole purport is nice. Uh, the Lord, yeah, I mean, the Lord is always blissful, and Jiva is always under the threefold miseries of the world. Lord derives happiness from his own self, whereas conditioned soul has material body, many material bodily and mental troubles. So that Lord is free from duality, whereas Jiva is always under attachment and detachment is going between them. Lord is supreme master of all senses, whereas conditioned soul is controlled by senses. Lord is the greatest, whereas living entity is the smallest. Lord is transcendental to all actions and reactions. Hmm? Living entity is conditioned by waves of material nature. Lord's expansions are innumerable, whereas conditioned soul is limited to only one form. Lord's bodies have no beginning and no end, whereas bodies of living entity are temporary and changing. So this is what is mentioned, and वचस्य परते प्राप्य य एको मनसा सह अनामरूपश्चिन्मात्रः सोऽव्यन्न स असत्परः. So in this way, the words and mind of the conditioned soul cannot approach the Supreme Lord. Apraya, not achievable. For material names and forms are not applicable to the Lord, who is eternally spiritual, sir, sir, entirely spiritual, beyond the conception of gross and subtle forms. So the impersonal Brahman effulgence is described in this verse, that he is unlimited. This Brahma Jyoti is unlimitedly spreading, and that's why it's yeah, the mind and words cannot approach him. Whatever the rockets and space shuttles one may take and they go to different planets, they may think, let me go to sun, beyond the sun. No, they can't reach the Brahman. यस्मिन् इदं यतः चेदं तिष्ठति अप्येति जायते मृन्मयेष्व एव इव मृज्जातिस्तस्मै ते ब्रह्मणे नमः. As pots made completely of earth are situated on earth. Yeah? After you make from a clay a pot, where are you keeping? It is still part. Yeah, it is still there. Yeah. Similarly, the creation of the Lord from unmanifested to manifested and going back to unmanifested is everything within the Lord. Therefore, since the Supreme Lord is the cause of Brahman, let us offer our respectful obeisances. And yenna sprishanti navidur mano buddhi indriyashavah antarbahishcha vitatam vyomavat tan natosmi aham. The Supreme Brahman emanates from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and expands like the sky. Although untouched by anything material, it exists within and without. Nonetheless, the mind, intelligence, senses, and living force can never touch him nor know him. Uh, to that Lord I offer my obeisances. देहेन्द्रिय प्राण मनोधियो मे यद अंश विधा प्रचरन्ति कर्मसु नैवान्यद लोहम इवा प्रतप्तं स्थानेषु तद दृष्ट प्रदेशम एति. The example given here is very nice. As iron, when it comes in contact with fire, after some time it becomes fire. So the living body, senses, living force, mind and intelligence, although merely lumps of matter, can function in their activities when infused with a particle of consciousness by the Supreme Lord. As iron cannot burn unless heated by fire, the bodily senses cannot act unless favored by the Supreme Brahman. So in fact, this spark, that the Atma, that through which we are, this body is working, is because of that. And now Narad Muni once again gives another mantra. He's saying, Om Namo Bhagavate Mahapurushaya Mahanubhavaya Mahavibhuti Pataye Sakala Satvata Parivriddha Nikara Kara Kamala Kudmalopala Kudmalopalalita Charanaravinda Yugada Parama Parameshtin Namaste. He's saying, O transcendental Lord, who are situated in the topmost planet of the spiritual world, your two lotus feet are always massaged by a multitude of grey of best devotees with their lotus bud hands. You are the supreme personality of Godhead, complete in six opulences. You are the supreme person mentioned in the Purusha Suktas. You are the most perfect, self realized master of all mystics. Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto you. Hmm. And then, in this way, Narad Muni has given this wonderful prayers through which mantras are actually a means of prayers, are a kind of prayers through which one can offer themselves to the Lord. Shri Sukha Uvacha Bhaktyaitaam Prapannaya Vidyam Adishya Naradaha Yayavangirasa Sakam Dama Swayam Bhuvam Prabho. Swayam Bhuvam means the one who belongs to Lord Brahma. Shukadev Goswami continued, Narada, having become the spiritual master of Chitraketu, instructed him fully in this prayer because Chitraketu was fully surrendered. Again and again we come across this very important point, is surrenderness. Surrenderness is the means through which one can allow the mercy to come. When we do not have this sense of surrenderness, the mercy might be coming, just like the sunlight, the sun rays are falling. But if the sun rays are falling on a house and inside that you are there, yeah, what is the value? No use. So similarly, when the mercy is flowing, we should be receptive of such mercy that's coming, because Chitraketu has completely surrendered himself. Narada has given instructions, has given the mantra. One cannot simply just pick a book, take a mantra and then just read. No. Yeah, here we can see that one should have this sense of surrendering, otherwise we may cause disasters. Who was that guy? The scientist Oppenheimer. Yeah, he had only desire to create. The desire to create was creation of destruction. No, we have to surrender to Guru, and whatever Guru is saying, we have to follow that. Hmm. So, O King Parikshit, Narada then left with the great sage Angira for the topmost planet known as Brahmaloka. Here, here what happened is, after the death of Chitraketu's son, Angira brought Narada to instruct King Chitraketu about Bhakti Yoga. So this is in the purport, it is very clearly mentioned. Of course, there is more to this purport. It is said when Angira came first time, he came alone. Huh? He did not bring Narada Muni. However, after the death of Chitraketu, he brought uh, Narada Muni. That's why. Why? Because Narada is an expert bhakta who can induce bhakti into people, and that's why such a guru is very important in our life. We don't want any bogus gurus. We don't want to take shelter of so-called gurus, but real gurus, who are coming in the parampara. We are coming in the lineage of Narada Muni. We can see Brahma instructed Narada, Narada instructed. So in that way, Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Vaishnava Sampradaya. Yeah. So that it goes. The difference was that in the beginning, Chitraketu was not in a temperament of renunciation, but after the death of his son, when he was overwhelmed, then he came to the platform of Vairagya. Then he was able to understand. Yeah, the question comes, we don't know when is our temperament going to change. Like Chitraketu got the opportunity to hear, that's why he got changed. Now, what about us? Yeah, the beauty is when the mercy of the sadhus come unknowingly, unexpectedly, yeah, even if it's unwantedly, we change. We may not want it, but yeah, gradually we will change by the mercy of the sadhus. When we come under the what is it called? Guru Darshan. Yeah, we were talking about when from when good fortune arises. The book from Gaur Govind Maharaj. They said what is Guru Darshan means. It's not that we go and see the Guru. Yeah, rather it is that the Guru is seeing us, and the seeing us is not a material thing. It is not that just okay, one is seeing with his external eyes. What is Guru Darshan is Guru is seeing the spirit of the soul, the spirit of the individual, of the being, and is igniting the spark so that he can practice bhakti. So that is what all when a guru is seeing, he is not just seeing him or her as a body, as a just a human being. Rather, he is seeing as a jiva, and then he is uh, in- igniting, or elevating such a person to come to the platform. So here the key is in the purport Prabhupada mentions the Krishna consciousness movement is progressing successfully in the Western countries at the present moment because the youth in the West have reached the stage of vairagya or renunciation. They are particularly disgusted with material pleasure from material sources, and this has resulted in a population of hippies throughout the Western countries. So we can still see this. Of course, we have no much time to see the world around us, but just if you go to what is this places, some Bahnhofs, railway stations, you see so many people are just standing there. They don't know what to do. It is not that just because they are poverty stricken, they don't have money to maintain. No, they are addicted to drugs. And why they are addicted to drugs? Because they see that maybe drugs can give them that highness of freedom from all the suffering, and they think that they can attain that. So in that way, everyone is trying to find a permanent solution. And when Prabhupada went at that time in the US, the condition was there, and the hippies they became. Did Prabhupada mention in this purport? No. Renunciation, yeah, disgusted. Yeah, hippies throughout the Western country. Now, if these young people are instructed about bhakti yoga, Krishna consciousness, the instructions will certainly be effective. And now, if you can see in the purport, Prabhupada is generalizing, saying even now, it's not only at that time, maybe because one may think in 1970s, maybe that time, there is no much entertainment, there is no internet, there is no whatever technology. That's why people were not happy. Now we have everything. Why still we see people are not happy? Why we still see people are looking for happiness? Yeah, this is a general principle, and that's why we need to bring Krishna consciousness out wide enough. It is also said, Bhakti Pareshanubhavo Viraktir Anyatra. Advancement in devotional service is characterized by increasing renunciation for material enjoyment. So, if we say, okay, let's bring others, what about us? How great devotee are we? Uh, the how to measure our own devotion is our devotional stage is how much are we attached to material things. Uh, this instruction, Narad Muni is the father of devotional service. It's clearly mentioned. Therefore, just to bestow causeless mercy upon King Chitraketu, Angira brought Narada Muni to instruct the king. These instructions were extremely effective. Anyone who follows in the footsteps of Narada Muni is certainly a pure devotee. Uh, चित्रकेतुस्तु तां विद्यां यथा नारद भाषितां धारयाम आस सप्ताहम अभक्ष सुषम सुषम susamahitah. So then he gave up eating, drinking only water. He did for 1 week of chanting. Then he got some material opulence. What is that? He became received, achieved the rule of planet of Vidyadhara as an intermediate product of his spiritual advancement in knowledge. Because we don't have much time, I'll cover this anyway in the afternoon. What does that mean? Getting some material benefits if I get chance there. So here is said, a pure devotee, however, is never attached to material power, although he gets it very easily without personal endeavor. Chitraketu received the side benefit of his of his devotional service, which he rigidly performed in accordance with instruction of Narada. So when we are practicing bhakti, we will get some things, yeah, as byproducts. Something are good, something are not good. We should be careful how to deal with. That's why. तथा कतिपया होभिर् विद्यायेद् मनोगतिः जगाम देवदेवस्य शेषस्य चरणान्तिकम्. This is a very important message for the youth. What is mentioned? Huh? Every material opulence can be blessed. Here we can see the example given is within a very few days, by the influence of the mantra that Chitraketu has practiced, his mind became increasingly enlightened in spiritual progress and he attained the shelter at the lotus feet of Lord. This is very nice. Why? Because everyone is looking for a quick fix, at least a quick fix. But here we are telling a quick and permanent fix. Quick and permanent fix is just by taking to mantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By this chanting, one can really attain ultimate success. In the purport, Prabhupada mentions a devotee's ultimate achievement is to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in any one of the planets in the spiritual sky. As a result of rigid execution, a devotee receives all material opulences if these are required. Otherwise, the devotee is not interested in material opulence. So, one may get these kind of material opulences, so called. Prabhupada writes in the later that consequently, a devotee is awarded so called material opulence for spiritual advancement. This opulence is an aid to help the devotee advance towards spiritual kingdom. So when we are doing something, when we are getting support, we should accept it and engage it back in the service. It is not we think that now I got money for or now I got that, let me enjoy the facilities. After all, I have did it and people gave it. No, it is that the products that we get from the bhakti should be used to get closer to Krishna. So thus Maharaj Chitraketu remained in material opulence as Vidyadhara Pati. You know what will happen later, why he got master of Vidyadharas, and by executing devotional service he became perfect within few days and returned home back to Godhead, taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So here Madhvacharya comments, is it in this purpose, this for this अन्यांतर्यामिनं विष्णुम् उपास्यान्य समीपगः भवेद् योग्यतया तस्य पदं वा प्राप्नुयान् नरः. Is saying by worshipping Lord Vishnu, one can get with whatever he wants, whatever desires. But a pure devotee never asks Lord Vishnu for any material profit. Instead, he serves Lord Vishnu without material desires and is therefore ultimately transferred to the spiritual kingdom. In this regard, Srila Veera Raghava Acharya comments, Yateshta gatir iti artah. By worshipping Lord Vishnu, a devotee can get whatever he likes. Maharaj Chitraketu wanted only to return home back to Godhead and therefore he achieved success in that way. So, मृणाल गौरम सितिवाससं स्फुरत् किरीटकेयूरकटित्रकङ्कणं प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनं वृतं ददर्श सिद्धेश्वरमण्डलैः प्रभुम्. The Lord has appeared very, very white in color, like the fiber of the lotus, white lotus flower. Yeah, we know whom we are talking about. Sankarshana. Who is Sankarshana? Lord Balaram. Lord Balaram complexion is white. And what is his garments color is blue. Here it's mentioned. Kirita, here Keyura, Katitra. Oh, he came with all this Prasanna Vaktra, Aruna Lochanam, with having reddish eyes. And then, where is that? Yeah, Siti Vasanam, Siti Vasasam, wearing garments of blue silk. Yeah, and his face was smiling, his eyes were reddish, he was surrounded by such exalted, liberated persons as Sanat Kumara. तद्दर्शन ध्वस्त समस्त किल्बिषः स्वस्तामलान्तकन sorry स्वस्तामलान्तक Okay. Svastamalaantakarano abhyayan munihi pravriddha bhaktya pranayashrulochana prahrashta romanamad adipurusham. And because of that, the hair stand on end out of jubilation. Chitraketu was excited, happy. He finally got the darshan. As soon as Maharaj Chitraketu saw he was cleansed of all metal contamination and situated in his original Krishna consciousness, being completely purified, he became silent and grave. With great devotion and love, he offered his respectful obeisances unto the original personality of Godhead. So, this is what happens when one gets the right Guru, then he gets the right mantra, and with the right mantra, one can advance properly. Hmm. And here, there is the benefit of visiting temple and Lord Darshan is mentioned. Tad darshana dvashta samasta kilbisha. Prabhupada writes, is very important in this verse. If one regularly sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the temple, one will gradually be disinfected of all material desires simply by visiting the temple and seeing the deity. When one is freed from all the results of sinful activities, one will be purified, and with a healthy mind, completely cleansed, he will increasingly make progress in Krishna consciousness. So this is the beauty. Why there are these centers and temples all around the world is we can see that, yeah, some may need this disinfection. Hmm? Yeah, one needs this understanding that okay, the Lord is not just made of marble, made of metal, or made of wood. Yeah, Lord is really spiritual. Hmm. And when one goes in front of a deity, deity is purifying. Mm. And of course, usually sometimes people go to the Lord and they keep on read out a list of all petitions or all the problems that they have or all the blessings that they want. No, just by going and just being there, and the Lord, let Lord uh, distill us, our thoughts, our mind, our heart. Yeah, just being there, just doing japa, absorbed in the chanting. स उत्तमश्लोकपदाब्ज विस्तरं प्रेमाश्रुलेशयोपमेहनमुहुः प्रेमोपरुद्धाखिलवर्णनिर्गमो नैवासकत् प्रसमीडितुं चिरम्. And the symptoms of ecstasy that Chitraketu got was unable to utter any of the letters of alphabet to offer the Lord prayers. He was blind, or not really blind. He was, the voice got choked. He could not utter a word. Better offer prayers before darshan. This is what it is said. I think it is mentioned. If one has scientific, I think it comes later. Chitraketu wanted to do this, but he was unable to because of loving ecstasy. Therefore, he had to wait for a considerable time before he could offer prayers. So after darshan, we never know we can offer prayers. We may think, hey, our goal is to see the Lord, and after seeing the Lord, we don't have to pray. No, it is important that we have this mood of servitude and offer prayers. So we offer prayers, and if okay, the Lord is coming, we can have the darshan, but the prayers are the key. And the last verse of today is Tata Samadhyaya. ततः समाधाय मनो मनीषया बभाष एतत् प्रतिलब्धवाग् असौ नियम्य सर्वेन्द्रियबाह्यवर्तनं जगद्गुरुर्सात्वतशास्त्रविग्रहम्. Hmm. It is said, thereafter, by controlling his mind with his intelligence and thus restricting his senses for external engagement, huh, uh, he recovered suitable words with which to express his feelings. Thus he began offering praise to the Lord, who is the personification of the holy scriptures, Satvata Samhita, like Brahma Samhita and Narada Pancharatra, and who is the spiritual master of all. He offered his prayers as follows. That's what we will cover tomorrow. But very important, sometimes people think why Sudama Prabhu is so uh, picky and so um, narrow-minded, or I don't know how do we call this. Sometimes very um, mm, not open. Yeah, I think the word is, yeah. Why is he not so open-minded, or why he is not so broad-minded? Yeah, this is right. So we can see in the shloka and the purport, it's mentioned, one cannot offer prayers to the Lord with mundane words. One must become spiritually advanced by controlling mind and senses. This is fine. Then he can find suitable words to offer in prayers to the Lord. And this quote that is mentioned here is very important. In Padma Puran, from the Padma Puran, Srila Sanatan Goswami refers, he forbids us to sing any song not sung by authorized devotees. Avaishnava mukhod girnam, पूतं हरिकथामृतं श्रवणं नैव कर्तव्यं सर्पोच्चिष्टं yathapayah. It is said, the words or songs of a person not fixed in Vaishnava behavior, not strictly following the rules and regulations, and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra should not be accepted by pure devotees. The word Shashvata Shastra Vigraham indicate that the Satchit Ananda body of the Lord can never be accepted to be made of Maya. So if someone is not having that understanding, if one is just rolling out some nice lyrics out of their own feelings or out of their own competition or whatever, yeah, and if that, no one cannot accept that. Devotees do not offer prayers to the Lord in an imaginary form. The existence of Lord's form is supported by all Vedic literature. Yeah, I would end here. Yeah, thank you very much. That's why we usually see that, hey, why is even though there are some nice Bollywood, Hollywood or Tollywood, I don't know, whichever wood, which is having nice songs, which are also devotional, which are so attractive, no? Why we usually don't pick them up? Yeah? Rather, we want to absorb ourselves in the bhajans, the poems of acharyas, of pure devotees, is because, yeah, we know shallow and uh, mm, what do you call this, is not having the same import, is import, yeah, yeah, they don't have the same import, that's why we can see in the Padma Puran it is said, yeah, Avaishnavanam Girnam. What is the word? Let me check. Avaishnavanam Mukhogirnam, coming, that is coming from Avaishnava, yeah, is forbidden to hear. Good. Thank you very much for your patience. Any thoughts, questions? Uh, Parth Prabhu?
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the detailed explanation. Um, Prabhuji, I just wondered, like the son of Chitraketu,
Mm-hmm.
who died in a very infant age, and then Narad Muni planned to bring him back to life, and then the child, um, um, I mean, enlightened everyone. So, is it because the child was already enlightened? Is already an enlightened soul, or he's already free from all the material contamination, or in
I
the previous.
had I had the same question, but I haven't come across any reference where did Angira, because Angira Rishi, he blessed him, right? At that time already he knew that this child is going to give you happiness when he's alive and he's going to give you shoka when he's not there. Maybe it is the plan of the great Rishi to bring a realized soul into life of Chitraketu. I don't know. Maybe guessing that.
Okay, probably because of the blessings of the rishis, as you said.
Yeah, could be, but I haven't come across some reference,
Mm.
or actually I didn't look heavily. Maybe there will be something. If you come across, let me know.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. Yeah, others.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So Chitraketu received the mantra to please the Lord Balram. Is
Yes.
that so?
Yeah.
So does it depend on the interest of the receiver that the Guru gives the
Yeah.
mantra accordingly?
Yeah. So the Lord here, yeah, Narad Muni has given the mantra of Sankarshana. Yeah, you can also see that Lord Shiva gives the mantra of Sankarshana to Prachetas. So in the scriptures, we are not talking about only a Kali Yuga time, right? We are talking about different yugas and different means and different worships that, yeah, one can, it depends how pure is one to recite the prayers to Sankarshana. Hmm? Yeah, this is one thing. So Guru knows what is the qualification and he engages us in service. Similarly, Guru knows what is a qualification of reciting a particular mantra. But if you see, we don't see in Bhagavatam, I think this comes up in the 11th canto, where there is this, yeah, Guru do not encourage someone giving a mantra of a demigod because they see that, I think recently also we came across, right, this watering the root. In that context, it's mentioned that even if our goal is to satisfy the devatas because we are blessed because of water, we are blessed because of sunshine, let's offer. Even they are pleased if we offer direct worship to the Lord. Yeah. So we are talking about Vishnu Tattvas, and again Vishnu Tattvas, we are talking about principal incarnations, not all incarnations. Of course, we can also worship Vyasadeva, right? Even Vyasadeva is an incarnation of the Lord. We can worship Dhanvantari, he is also an incarnation of the Lord. We can worship who's that? Yeah, Uchashrava, the horse that is all. So we can worship. But what is happening is they are not direct expansions of the Lord. So the principal expansions in Bhagavatam is mentioned. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. I forgot the first line. It says that they are Vyasa. Vyasadeva, yeah, tells to Shukadeva Goswami that there are these principal incarnations in the fifth chapter, if I'm not wrong, first canto. All he tells about Parashuram, he tells about Prithu Maharaj, he tells about Buddha, he tells about Hayagriva, so many. Yeah? And after saying all these are incarnations of Lord Vishnu only, then he says that, yeah, but among all these, Eka Pumsam. Uh, what is that? Um, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So among all these incarnations that he said, he clearly declares that Krishna is the supreme. Esha Kala Pumsam. Yeah, let me find it. I'm just trying to get it. Yeah, it is the first canto, third chapter. It is mentioned. Ete cham sakala pumsam krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam lokam mridayanti yuge yuge. The translation is all of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord, but Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is disturbances created by the atheist. The Lord incarnates to protect the theist. So, mm. So in the purport, Prabhupada mentions different incarnations, how they have come, in what capacity they have, and what they have done. And then in the final or before, there is this. The Bhagavatam relates these transcendental pastimes in the 10th canto. There is a whole description where we can see all these leelas of the Lord in different incarnations are described till 9 cantos, but 10th full canto is dedicated for Krishna. Yeah. We know this is shared when this at the end of Dwapara Yuga, right? Hmm? Bhagavatam. So according to Srila Jiva, I mean, I'm going in the purpose. According to Srila Jiva Goswami's statement, in accordance with authoritative source, Lord Krishna is the source of all other incarnations. It is not that Lord Krishna has any source of incarnation. All the symptoms of supreme truth in full are present in the person of Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna, and in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord emphatically declares that there is no truth greater than or equal to him. In this stanza, the word Swayam is particularly mentioned to confirm that Lord Krishna has no other source than himself. Yeah. Again, as I said, this purport has all this explanation. Yeah, whatever we are talking, there is Swayam Rupa, there is Swayam Prakasha, there is Tadekatma, Prabhava, Vaibhava, Vilasa, Avatara, Avesha, Jiva, and all these are different energies and expansions of the Lord. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
So, yeah. So 1:3:28. Yeah, you may make a note. If you have notes, I don't know. Okay. Good. Then thank you very much. We see us later in the afternoon. Then Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu. Maybe after this call, let's sync up the programs. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Maybe Adrasa Prabhu, do you have time also?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Then, yeah, talk to you guys later. Yeah, thank you. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी।